President Trump selling a Bible is kind of a regular guy thing to be doing.
We've been covering over the past couple of weeks how Donald Trump is selling Bibles to fund his presidential campaign. He's selling these $60 Bibles that for some reason also contain the Constitution of the United States and the Declaration of Independence and the Pledge of Allegiance. It's all there under one Trump Bible that you can get today for $60. Now, it turns out that there are a lot of right-wing religious Trump supporters who are actually taking issue with Trump doing this, even going as far as to call it blasphemous. Now, is it an issue that I care about personally? No, I don't care if Trump sells his Bibles, but religion is supposedly super important to many people in Trump's voter base, certainly the evangelical population. So it's interesting to hear from certain voices who are expressing dissatisfaction with it, saying that Donald Trump shouldn't do it. I'll show you this clip again. We showed it to you earlier this week. Republican Congressman Mike Turner was asked about the Trump Bibles, and he claims that he hadn't heard about it before, tried to pivot to talking about Joe Biden and the Easter celebration at the White House, but then later had to go back on track, got asked about it again, whether he would buy one of these Trump Bibles, and Mike Turner said that he wouldn't write a check for it. Let's take a look at that clip as a reminder.
I think it's appropriate for the former president, for the likely Republican nominee, to be selling such a product?
I haven't really seen that. I've heard some people talk about it. I think I'm more concerned about the White House restricting the ability of children to put religious symbols on Easter eggs for the Easter egg roll at the White House. I'm glad that CBS gives people the right to express their religious freedom. I can't imagine that we're certainly in a situation where the Biden White House is restricting, especially that of children, their ability to express their religious freedoms.
Okay, but you wouldn't buy a copy of this Trump Bible, would you?
I'm not writing a check for that.
Okay.
So Mike Turner, seemingly a religious figure, he's taking issue with the fact that Trump is selling these Bibles, even if he's not willing to outright condemn the action. And this has been the sentiment felt by plenty of right-wingers online as well, the more religious ones, and that has prompted Fox News to do some damage control. Insert Fox contributor Tammy Bruce to White Knight for Donald Trump. She went on TV and said that Trump selling Bibles is actually a good thing because it's a regular guy thing to be doing. Yeah, when I think about what a regular guy does, it's selling Bibles. Let's take a look at what Tammy Bruce had to say on Fox.
President Trump selling a Bible is kind of a regular guy thing to be doing. It's not presidential, right? You've got the sons or the brothers to do the selling of things. This is what Trump does. It takes him into people's kitchens, into their living rooms, while the left is sitting up on the highest mountain in the world looking down on all of the hoi polloi. And there is Donald Trump once again reaching in and being himself and being able to relate to, I think, to the average person.
Also a lot.
Now, I don't know about you, but when I think about the average regular guy in America, I don't get the picture of someone who is selling Bibles for the purposes of fundraising for his presidential campaign. I more get the image of like a dad taking their kid to Little League practice, or maybe some guy running the local 5K, or some dude changing the oil in his car in the driveway out front. I don't get the image of someone selling Bibles. I don't picture that as an everyman, average guy thing to do. Also, she talks about how this brings Donald Trump into people's homes, into specifically people's kitchens and living rooms. Is that where people keep their Bibles? I mean, living room, maybe, that makes sense, but I think it's more of a bedroom thing, right? Don't you put it in the bedroom nightstand like you see at hotels? I don't think people tend to keep their Bibles in the kitchen. That would be pretty bizarre. I can't imagine people are like making a nice lasagna and have to wait for the ovens to preheat to 375 degrees, and in the meantime are reading a couple of Bible verses. I don't think that happens, but maybe it happens in some Christian households across America. But what essentially Tammy Bruce is doing here is trying to provide cover for Donald Trump. She probably understands that there are some religious right-wing folks out there in the country who are concerned about Trump doing this, and she's trying to explain to them that, no, it's okay. This is an average person kind of thing to do. And it's the exact same reservations that Trump had to deal with when it came to previous elections. Evangelicals were hung up about his treatment towards women. They were hung up about the Access Hollywood tapes and, other scandals Trump has had in his past. but ultimately they were convinced that Trump was the right guy for them. The abortion issue went a long way to convince many of those evangelical voters to support him. And at this point, they've basically accepted the fact that Trump isn't too much of a religious figure. They don't mind. And apparently they're not going to mind ultimately that he's selling these Bibles. So once again, we have an example of a Fox News contributor twisting themselves in knots trying to explain away Donald Trump's controversial actions, and to many right-wingers, this is going to work just fine for them. All right, that's going to do it for today's show, but make sure to tune into today's bonus show. You can get the bonus show by signing up for membership at joinpacman.com. On the bonus show today, we're going to talk about a number of topics. We're going to talk about how Joe Biden has told Benjamin Netanyahu that the situation in Gaza is unacceptable and that the U.S. may have to take action if civilian lives aren't better protected in the region. I'm going to show you a clip of Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg smacking down Fox News on the issue of EVs. And finally, No Labels is bailing on its plan to field a unity candidate in the 2024 presidential race. I'm sure you're all disappointed that we're not going to get a No Labels party candidate in the election. All of that and more on today's bonus show. Don't miss out. Sign up on joinpacman.com. If you're a member, I'll see you there. If not, David will be back on Monday. Take care, everybody.
One of the most disturbing news stories of the last year is how the FBI, NSA, and other law enforcement and intelligence agencies are buying the internet browsing histories of millions of Americans. If they buy the data in bulk from data brokers who get it from internet service providers, they don't even need a search warrant, and the feds can know about everything you do online. That's why I use a service called Incogni. Our sponsor, Incogni, automatically goes to every major data broker and demands they remove your data from their records, which they are legally required to do if asked. They will even follow up with each data broker to make sure your data is really gone. They'll keep you updated every step of the way with progress. But using Incogni doesn't just keep your data safe from the government. Many other parties get your personal information from data brokers like hackers and spam callers, even ex-significant others or employers, ex-employers. My audience gets 60% off. Super easy. Go to incogni.com/Pacman. Use the code Pacman. The link is down below.